House Bill 1323, a bill relating to military surplus motor vehicles, registration and operation on highways penalty, reported from the Committee on Transportation with a substitute, and there is a floor substitute.
Senator from Grayson, Senator Carrico.
Mr. President, I ask that we reject the committee substitute. I have a floor substitute.
Thank the Senator. With the recommendation that it be rejected, the question is, shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no.
No.
The noes have it. The committee substitute is rejected. Senator from Grayson, Senator Carrico.
Now, Mr. President, I ask that we agree to the floor substitute, and I waive the reading of that substitute.
Thank the Senator. The question is, shall the reading of the floor substitute be waived? All in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The reading of the floor substitute is waived. Senator from Grayson, Senator Carrico.
Now, Mr. President, I ask that we accept the floor substitute and to explain substitute.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, the floor substitute now puts the bill in the posture to have a definition of a military surplus motor vehicle, meaning it's a multi-purpose tactical vehicle manufactured under the direction of the United States Armed Forces for off-road use and subsequently sold to civilians as a military surplus vehicle. Then, Mr. President, it basically breaks down how that vehicle is to be registered. It'll be a one-time $100 fee. It can be used for off-road events, on-road club activities, exhibits, tours, parades, and similar events. It also can be driven from its place of where it's housed of 125 miles to another location for occasional use. And it also gives law enforcement the authority to stop the vehicle and inquire from where it's going, where it came from, and where it's going to. And the last part is that any of these vehicles that are currently registered as of January 2018, that they can continue to register these vehicles as they normally have as a vehicle that the owner uses for purposes pertain to them. I hope it would be the pleasure of the body to accept the floor substitute.
Thank the Senator. What purpose does the junior senator from Loudoun, Senator Wexton, rise?
To inquire whether the senator would yield for a question.
Will the senator yield for a question?
I'll yield.
Senator yields.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would ask of the senator. At committee, there were a lot of folks who had already purchased, like Humvees, military surplus vehicles, and they were concerned about being grandfathered in. It appears that under the floor substitute, they continue to be grandfathered in. Is that correct?
That's correct. The in line 455, I think, through 459, those vehicles will be grandfathered.
Mr. President, if
further question?
I thank the gentleman. If he would yield for another question.
I'll yield.
Senator yields. You have the floor.
But it appears that if they are to sell the vehicle to another individual buyer, that subsequent buyer would have to register the vehicle under this new code section. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
If it's not designed for, according... That was one of those owners. According to the way that these vehicles are designed, some are designed to be off-road use only. They're not stamped, but some are. Some are designed. The military does buy vehicles that are approved by the traffic safety, and if they have the stamp, they can continue to register those just as another vehicle when they're sold. But if it is a vehicle that's designed solely for off-road use, they'll have to register it as a military surplus.
Mr. President, final question for
Senator has
the
the
gentleman.
floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. And is there some indication on the title for those vehicles that are not designed for on-road use? Is there some indication?
Yes, they stamp those titles when they're sold. When that vehicle's sold by the military, that does have that stamp on it.
I thank the gentleman.
Thank you, Senator. Question is, shall the floor substitute be agreed to? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The floor substitute is agreed to. Junior Senators from Virginia Beach, Senator D. Steph.
Can that bill go by temporarily for an amendment?
Without objection, House Bill 1323 will go by temporarily.
Page 56, House Bill 1323. We have a floor amendment.
Junior Senator from Virginia Beach, Senator D. Steph.
Mr. President, I wanted to explain the floor amendment real quick.
Waive the reading.
Waive the reading of the floor amendment. Actually, I'll probably read it anyway, but that's okay.
Question is, shall the reading of the floor amendment be waived? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The reading of the floor amendment is waived. Junior Senator from Virginia Beach, Senator D. Steph.
So, Mr. President, what we're doing with this floor amendment, to explain it, we're going from January 1st, 2018 to January 1st, 2019. So what this will do is allow anyone who's purchased a vehicle from the beginning of January through next January, so those who purchased a vehicle yesterday or last week, then they would be able to be grandfathered under this as well. And that's pretty much it. So with that, I request we pass the floor amendment.
Thank the Senator. Question is, shall the floor amendment be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The floor amendment is adopted. Senator from Grayson, Senator Carrico.
Mr. President, having previously explained the bill, I ask that we pass the bill.
Thank you, Senator. Do any other senators wish to be heard on House Bill 1323? Seeing none, the question is, shall House Bill 1323 pass? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 4.
Ayes 36, noes 4. House Bill 1323 passes.
Uncontested.
Zero. Senate substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 1323 is a bill relating to military surplus motor vehicles, registration and operation on highways, penalty. The bill originally passed the House February 12th, subsequently passed the Senate with substitute with amendment, and those that substitute and amendment is before the body, excuse me.
The delegate from Newport News, Delegate Yancey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Senate amendment provides additional time for those owners of these military surplus vehicles to be able to improve upon their situation with the Department of Motor Vehicles as they move forward on registering these vehicles. Mr. Speaker, members, I move that the Senate amendments be approved by the House and we pass the bill.
Shall the Senate substitute with amendment be agreed to? Clerk will close the roll.
I think something may have fallen out. Ayes 96, no 0.
Ayes 96, noes 0. The Senate substitute with amendments agreed to.